Alright everybody, well I think it's safe to say at this point that I'm officially addicted to this game. Although I probably shouldn't say that because last time I said something completely out of context. YouTube recommended that video and there's something completely different. Yeah. But yeah, I am. I definitely feel like I am addicted to this game because it's just... There's so many things to discover. I just want to get started doing that. And this time around... I want to see if it's possible to not open up with Arc Towers or Runestone Towers. And for that, I think I'm going to pick up Stone. Yes. And the other opener, I think we're just going to keep what we had previously, which is Odin's Grace 1, first Hire Worker, and then into the passive specialization of the Lumberjack Camp, which will give us the passive wood income, which is fantastic. And then we'll go from there. I'm also going to sacrifice the first couple of waves, because as we have seen last time around, that really doesn't matter if we lose a few life points. Let's grab the specialization, Forester's Lodge, and keep going. See if we can find some good hexes. Now, since we started out at 20 HP, I think the next wave might be pushing it a little bit. Also have some things to do. Now the problem is if I pick up economy budget 1 and then stave construction, which is also something that I love to do, or started doing last time around, so this will reduce the prices of all the buildings, so we can save a lot of wood by doing this. But the only problem I have with that is that will completely nullify our gold. So if let's say I wanted to open up with Shadow Tower, for example, just to not open up with Arc Tower all the damn time, then that wouldn't really be possible unless we took out the Guildhall gold first. But you know what? Let's stick with our previous opener and let's see what happens. I'm going to do one more exploration. Hopefully 2, 4, 6, 8. Are we dead? No, we're barely. Okay. Wow, that was a little bit crazy. I didn't mean to really calculate that all that much. Okay, Deadly Presence for Chaos Reaper. I don't even have Chaos Reaper unlocked, so that's not the best. Magma Field for Volcano Mortars. Okay, then let's see if we can open up with the Volcano Mortars first. I'm going to grab the University and start our Outpost research, and then I'm thinking, yeah, we're going to grab Outpost Radius 1 into better banners, into probably trade ships. I think that's what we did last time. Maybe I got the banners first, whatever. Let's see, Volcano Mortar. We can only put down a few, which is a little bit awkward considering the fact that we are 2 HP. So let's put down one over here. I kind of want to space these guys out. Reason being is, what I don't want to happen is, you know, all of them shooting at the same target, and then essentially we just lose out on a bunch of hits. I don't want to place it on the 4 hex because I'm pretty sure that's going to be our first outpost, or maybe second or third, but that's usually a good spot. Now the only question is, will this actually hold off the next wave? And what should we focus on? We're focusing on group. I mean, that's a good focus, except if but I don't think this guy will overlap too much. Okay, let's just see. Plus we have the magma fields. Okay, nice. Research duration reduced, perfect. And I definitely want the Druid House this time so that we can start replenishing some of that HP, because that was really that's really not good. So I think next time around I'm not going to go until wave 3 to actually build the first couple of towers, because this is clearly wasn't a good idea. Okay. We have our outpost, price reduced. Let's go for outpost radius, which means we don't really need to worry about outpost just yet. I think we could go into quarry because we have stave construction. Yes, okay, so let's go into quarry, and we could pick up the guild hub, but I don't really want to jeopardize. I don't want to jeopardize our economy just because we're in a tight situation. I just reload the game if something really bad happens. Now this can be fused with arrow towers, arc towers. Okay, but like I said, I don't really want to go with arc towers, no runestone towers. Arrow towers and shadow towers would be an interesting combo. Now, although this is really expensive, but I really don't want to lose the game just yet. Well, it's not like I want to lose the game in the future, but I don't want to lose the game yet. So I think I'm going to focus on the boss elite, yes, and then focus on the closest ones. Let's see if we can survive the next one. Magma Field really comes in handy because it does a lot of AoE in its own way. Okay. Brings 100 wood and 1 common banner. Now my problem is with random common banners, if we get a banner that is like really bad, like for example the Trinity for Runestone is something that I would hate to grab. And I think the Volcano Mortar has a banner that logs the targeting priority to circulating. Of course, the chances of that popping up is not too high, but whatever, I'll risk it. Okay, White Blast, perfect, nice. Okay. And yeah, we got that 100 wood, perfect. So now we need one more pop of the Treasury Gold or the Guildhall Gold so that we can grab the 2 economy budget upgrades, and then we can go into like building trade ships or building something else. I'm thinking I'm gonna stick with stone this time around, just so that we can build a few more mortars, or one more mortar to be exact, because yeah, we're gonna be at 85. 56. Okay, not bad. More damage to the towers is good. Each Volcano Mortar gains increased damage and burn damage for the rest of the way for every enemy it kills. That's actually very nice. But I also want to go to the fusing route because of what you guys told me. I guess I'm going to grab a little bit extra damage for the arrow towers as well. Or the arrow towers. Okay. So what are we going to focus on? We didn't really build all that many Volcano Mortars, so this is an interesting question. I definitely want to go with accuracy later on, simply because, you know, if this lobs and it doesn't hit anything, that's completely wasted. But I think it's too soon for that. We could just stick with damage, honestly, because that's really the primary purpose of this, is to be a single shot heavy hitter. Oh, this is a very good angle, actually. What do we need this? Well, we need a ton of wood. Okay. Get some gold coming in. Although these guys are not that expensive. And if we want to build a round of arrow towers, I'm just going to grab the workshop and grab one of the superior architecture upgrades, so we can at least cut down on that price just a little bit. And for example, like this, I think this entire configuration might be enough, honestly, for the first boss. We'll see. Okay, I'm going to go back to wood with all the villagers, because I want to continue on building up our trade ships. Excuse me, and also start going into some outposts as well, because they're going to be our primary focus. And yeah, I'm not going to go into outpost resource production just yet. Rear banner would be a nice aggressive choice, and it would even complete until wave number 9, where we get the next banner choice. Or we can just go aggressive trade ships and start working on our gold. I think I still want to focus on our economy. That really didn't change, at least in my preference, that we should be going into economy as much as we can. Okay, yeah, so this is more than enough to hold them off. Okay, perfect. That's exactly what I like to see. Now, as for these towers, man, I don't know. These are in pretty good angles, so I wouldn't go with range. But also still, the accuracy, I think, is too soon. Maybe go with a little bit of damage. Scales pretty well. Yeah, we can go with damage because there are a ton of banners that increase fire rate. There are also a ton of banners that increase the damage as well. Yeah, let's go with some damage. Okay. And like I said, let's start building up our outposts. Now, the first one costs 70. It only costs 66. Well, not only, but it costs 66. What we could do is delay the first outpost. But this one is pretty good. Yeah, I don't think I want to delay that. Even though that wasn't like the most optimal, right? Because we still have 2 more in prefabrication to be picked up. Yeah, I don't want to wait around. I'll grab these 2 upgrades of Oak Crusher. Let's see. Although this so far seems to be pretty good against these waves, I'm not entirely sure how this is going to fare against the boss. Although, to be honest, I would be very surprised if this wasn't enough, especially with the magma field, to take out the first boss. Bleeding enemies have their healing reduced by 50%. Now that would be I should say that would have been very nice to grab because, yeah, healing enemies are the worst. Absolutely the worst. +2 energy. Honestly, we cannot really pick up anything meaningful, so whatever. Prefabrication is now maxed out, and since we're going with volcano mortars, putting down some stonemasons is actually a good idea, good option, and this is a pretty good hex. 12 resources from there, and I think that's, well, you know, what we could do actually is burn all of our gold into this, put all our workers into that, and that will actually give us 2 more volcano mortars if I did the math correctly. Yeah, because it's going to be 132, and we're bringing in 100, and that will be 145. Okay. So 2 more volcano mortars is going to be fantastic. Yeah, and the magma field is doing a lot of work. Also, these locations in general seem to be pretty good for the long run. Big open fields. Okay, so this is what I meant, that we have options for damage. We also have options for fire rate, and we also have damage and wood production. Now, if we're going to focus very much on arrow towers, then this would be fantastic, because, you know, that will give us wood while we build towers. So, very good exchange. This will be an immediate damage boost, which I think I kind of want this. Especially that the boss wave is coming up. Man, all of these would be fantastic if they were at least rare. Or we can just go with fire rate. No, let's go with damage this time around. And yeah, let's put down 2 more volcano mortars. Like that, perfect. And now we can really get out of stone. And we could even start working on our workers. I think that's really the next step we should take. Start building a bunch of workers. This will be 42 in total. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna wait around a little bit. And grab another stonemason if it's pretty good. I mean, that's not bad. No ongoing research. Okay. Yeah, let's definitely go into banners. Okay, let's see what we can do against the boss. And I'm pretty sure very soon we need to start transitioning out of damage upgrades and going into like accuracy upgrades and then penetration upgrades. But so far this is good. We have 2, 4, and 5 volcano mortars and 2, 4, 6, just in case we get the banner that, you know, boosts the damage of the most built tower. We can grab a legendary banner. I think we'll go with that one. Oh my god, nice. Wood production 5 and damage plus 28%. I think I'll go with that one. It's an immediate 30 wood. Bleeding, fantastic. And also this, because, I mean, these guys are going to focus on the core of the enemy group. So if they get a damage boost of 7% for every single kill, then this... Wow, that's actually a lot. I'm going to go with this one. And that will give us a first fusion. Now, we haven't seen fusion for these 2 at all, so this is completely new. Precision shots. Damage from the volcano mortar scales with all additive damage banners of the arrow tower at 120% share. Holy shit. Currently a 61% damage increase in total. And that's going to be shared at 120%. Wow. Or the arrows of the arrow tower burn and add burn stacks based on the stacks of impact of magma field. I mean, honestly, both of these are fantastic. Because with this, you know, while scaling the damage of the arrow towers, you can also scale the damage of the volcano mortars. That is just fantastic. And this is very nice damage over time. Especially if you get the bleed banner for the arrow towers. That will essentially add bleeding and burning at the same time, because that's just huge. Okay, you know what? Let's go with precision shots first. See what we can pull off. And then maybe next time we'll go with the other one. Nice. Grab all this gold. So if we can get our workers the cheapest. Okay, and we're left with 30 gold. I think I'm going to put that into tavern. Yep. Nice. 160 wheat coming in. That's actually perfectly fine. We can grab some trade ships. And I think for the statue, we're going to set up a little gold farm with Blessing of Wealth and Volcano Mortars. Because these guys will target the mass, the groups, that's the targeting priority. And with each kill, they have a chance of generating gold. So essentially, we're going to use them for the same purpose as we used the Arc Towers in the previous run. So just hopefully generating a bunch of gold by getting a ton of kills. Okay, so the chest. We could go with weed, although that 31 gold can be put to good use. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. Maybe grab Wonder Seed 1. We could finish off... Yeah, that's actually nice. That's 20 more wheat. We can grab even more trade ships. Okay, and then we're left with 20 gold. I mean, sure, soon I do want a few more towers. Maybe not a whole lot. 5 workers gain 30% productivity. Okay, whatever. I'll use that. Use that amount of wheat for this. Okay. So I think it's going to be key to space out the Volcano Mortars. It's less key to space out the Arrow Towers. Simply because the Arrow Towers just simply don't do that much damage by themselves. Now this is also a very difficult choice, you know, because I want the bleeding damage, very nice damage over time, and slows down the target. But also if I grab this, then that will play into the Volcano Mortars, and this in general is just fantastic to have that big AoE. Dude, these are very good. Okay, let's go with the bleeding, whatever. Those are fantastic banners, I think. Okay. Let's space out the next Volcano Mortar over there. And let's not forget to grab the workers. Okay, and we kind of need to build up a ton of wood for the next one, because the next one is going to be kind of, well, it's 200 in total, but we'll be over 500. Okay, so we need all the wood. We cannot build any outposts this time around. Okay, nice. It's kind of sad that I'm never able to get to conservation before I start building workers, but it is what it is. I feel like we don't have enough outposts currently for this to really make sense. So I think I'm just going to start, or I should say continue on this path to better banners. Because we can really squeeze out a ton of extra damage by grabbing some good banners at this point. I do want the AoE banner for sure. Oh, and yeah, what I want to check... It doesn't make sense to check that right now, sorry. Okay. So we are bleeding and burning at the same time. Nice. Spell damage counts twice. We're not really in a spell damage build currently. I mean, these spells are really just not something that I'm really utilizing. Plus 15 resources on the map. On bleed multiplier. Very nice, or just raw damage. All of these are... I mean, damn, all of these seem to be very good. Rare Baron chance plus 10% probably. Not really excited about that. Bleed multiplier, just raw damage. Shit, man, I really don't know, honestly. Haven't had the opportunity to experiment with these just yet. To see which would be the best. But I think bleeding is going to be like an integral part of this build. Next to burning, so I think I'm going to pick that up. Elite enemy HP reduction, let's go with that. Next to outpost cost 50%, nice. And yeah, this one I can't really care about. Nice. Okay, and this is what I meant, that we needed all of our wood. Yep, because we're almost maxed out on workers. As a matter of fact, 322. Yeah, we have that covered. Fantastic. Okay, nice. I mean, we can still keep all of our guys in wheat production, because next time, or next couple of waves, what I want to do is max out on Odin's Grace, go for the specialization in the houses department, and just grab 4 more workers. So it doesn't matter if we have some access workers over here. Okay. How are we doing over here? We can max this out actually. And grab another Volcano Mortar. This would cover a lot of ground. I'm not sure where we will be building our forges, because most of these might be completely demolished. I mean, this probably is a good position. That's also a good position. All of these are honestly nice positions, you know, by themselves. Okay, perfect. Okay, now here you have the spawners, and yeah, those will be a little bit of a headache. I think we need a row of arrow towers somewhere in front that would snipe these spawners first. Because ideally what I want is by the time, you know, enemies get to the Volcano Mortars, then we will only have these weaker units that are very easy and fast to take out. So I think that's what we're going to do, and yes, I won the legendary banner. Nice. Okay, perfect. And now we're going to go into gold mine. Grab a ton of gold. How much was this? 40, 80, and 120? Or 125 or something like that. So 120, yeah, so like 240, 250 is kind of what we're going for. This is going to be on the edge, but we can grab the gold from the guild hall, so that means we can guarantee that next time we can complete Odin's Grace. Okay, cool. I want to start working on what I just mentioned, which is to start sniping the spawners, but I'll wait just a little bit, because this area clearly isn't going to be good for that. So it's either going to be this and this. Yeah, I think that's going to be it. Okay, now the fire rate of the towers is pretty shit. Might just grab some banners for that. Okay, so yeah, this is what I meant, that if we accidentally got this from the random banner in the beginning, that probably would have been that good. Increases the range of Volcano Mortar, reduces fire rate. No, I don't think we need that. Magma Field is pretty good. Okay. Nice. And yeah, so this is what I meant. Actually, I'm not even going to burn the money from the guild. I'm just going to sell a little bit of stone. This is really all we need. Okay, fantastic. And yeah, next time this is guaranteed. So we can move into wheat production, and that's about it. Although I might grab this and the brewery. But in order for this to work, we need one worker on wood so that we can build the 250. Okay. Nice. Now we can build Volcano Mortars. That's not a problem. For example, over there. Okay. Hopefully I did everything correctly. Let's see. Now the good thing is even if the Volcano Mortars miss, they still leave the magma field. Oh, and barriers are coming in. Now barriers are actually going to be almost game ending at this point. Yeah, that's a good thing that came up. Not too good in the sense that if next time I want to go with a bunch of workers, then I'm not going to have resources to build a few arrow towers. You know what? I'm going to risk. What is this? For 3 workers, yes, but yeah, that's exactly what I risked. Okay. And let's do this. So next time we're guaranteed to have the last worker, which is good, and then a bunch of wood which we can burn in this position and probably that position, and later on forges nearby. So overall, I think that's going to be the plan. 110 gold, that's a lot of gold. Let's make more gold out of it. Next one is actually mission return and market offer. So I think reduces the price of relics. All of these. I'm going to grab all of these. And yeah, I think that's it. Maybe passive income of stone. Although it's really about arrow towers at this point. No, I don't want to grab the Autumn Feast right now. I just want the last worker. Okay, so if we can survive this, then it's pretty good because we can put down a ton of arrow towers. Well, maybe not a ton, but a good amount of arrow towers that can take off or take out these barrier carriers. Because you can see the Volcano Mortars aren't doing any damage to them. And they survive basically until the end. So this is why I meant there's even a question if we will survive this time around. But I'm pretty sure we will because we took out all the barriers. Okay. Yep, okay, and we're back to full health, so perfect. Okay, last worker. And we have the best prices for the towers. Excellent. Okay, that's all we could do. And then, like I said, this is where we're going to build a forge. Could build a... Wait, we can actually afford that, no? Ooh, that's going to be close. Let's see. So this is going to be the forge itself, and yes, because this is 36 and 50 will be for demolishing the resources. 37 in total for damage, perfect. Okay, now the focus... We might not even need to focus on the barrier carriers explicitly. Because, you know, they will cover the closest guys, and we're targeting the closest... Well, let's see. Let's just do one run where we focus on the barrier carriers. Because my problem with this is that this will actually kill the unit itself, not just the barrier, from what I understand. And honestly, I wouldn't necessarily need to take out the unit itself, just the barrier that it's carrying. Well, let's see. So what I meant is, okay, they're going to target the closest, but eventually the closest one will be under the barrier, and so the barrier will be attacked by these regardless. Okay. We might actually need to target the barrier carriers after all. But this is a bit better. Maybe we'll need to go into barrier damage with the arrow towers. Or at least this group of arrow towers. What we could do actually, I'm going to pop down a Runestone tower over there. Because the banner choice is about to come in. Oh my god, that was... okay, that was some crazy luck. This is exactly why I put down the Runestone tower, so that we will get the runic fire aura. I just didn't think that it would be this easy to grab. Although this is fantastic as well, right? Because it's more wood production and a ton of damage, which in turn plays into the Volcano Mortar damage. Yeah, you know what? I was very happy about this, but I don't think this 12% in fire rate bonus for those guys which aren't even being reached currently is actually worth as much as this one, so I'm actually going to back off and do this. Okay, so let's see. We have relics of the markets cost less. Worker productivity per higher worker. Good. Good thing we have a ton of workers. And gain 120 gold. Okay, so logically we want to reduce the prices to guarantee that we get 120 gold, and then we can just pick this up. And we're good. Okay. Trinity we can immediately ban. Unless, I don't know, maybe there's going to be a fuse which use that, and then this is a horrible idea, but I don't know if there's a fusion that actually uses that. I think I'm going to go with fire rate. But man, this also still plays into the damn Volcano Mortars. That's my problem. But we are shooting very, very slow. And by the time this actually kicks in and starts to cover that aspect, I think this pays off a lot more currently. Okay, another Runestone tower. Kind of preemptively built because we don't even have the banner, but that's okay. Okay, so what's next? I'm pretty sure this is going to be enough against the barrier carriers. Especially if you do, like, you know, burn all of or most of our gold into one round of barrier damage, then definitely. We could start working towards range or accuracy or penetration. I think it's going to be penetration. And in terms of the Volcano Mortars, I think accuracy will be the next logical thing to do. Now, we don't need this many guys on wheat, except for the one that keeps us in the positives. Gold mine, yeah. Put everyone on gold mine, except for one on each of all the other production buildings, simply because these ones, I think I mentioned this previously, that these provide so many resources that even one worker makes a difference. So that's why I like to keep at least one in every single position. Because, you know, like this one single worker on stone is actually giving us 51 stone income. So that's absolutely worth it in my opinion. And we're going to grab a ton of gold and just simply work our way towards upgrading everything currently that requires gold. Yeah. In order to do that, that's why I like to get to this point where it seems like it's easy to hold off the enemies, so that we can just fully focus on eco this time around. We're kind of missing like key targets this way. I don't like this targeting. That I can immediately tell. That has to change. The reason I don't like about it is because since I'm focusing on barrier carriers and then just the closest one might be just an irrelevant weak enemy, which doesn't really need to be taken out by these guys. That's not their focus. I mean, taking out the barriers is good, but then I think they should be focusing on the minion spawners. Or the other option would be to focus on the most armored ones, to apply some bleeding to them. What would be nice to see actually is if we do not focus on the barrier carriers, how many barriers we'll get through. Let's experiment with that. And then we can put back the closest one or the toughest one. Yeah, let's do that. Let's pop the spawners first. Just essentially, yeah, let's pop those first, hand them over to the Volcano Mortars, and then go for the most armored one next. Okay. Okay, most of everything. This time I'm focusing on passive income first. Okay, beautiful. Trade ships maxed out. This maxed out. Well, this is very important to max out. Okay. More Volcano Mortars. First of all, the Runestone Towers. Yeah, mixing the banner name and the tower name. The Runestone Tower should focus on area or range to cover more ground. I think this will be a nice group of Volcano Mortars, honestly. Especially if we can expand their range to hit this position, even better. I think overall this is going to be fine. Maybe a forge nearby would also be fine. Yeah, okay. Let's see. Oh shit. I just had to start experimenting when is the boss wave. Okay. Well, we are going to focus on the boss. So this is what I mean is, okay, we're focusing on the barrier. No, we're not even focusing on the barrier carrier. Yeah, so at this point, since we are taking out the barrier so quickly, we don't even have to focus on it. And that's actually fantastic. What's less fantastic is that the boss is not dying. Okay. So in terms of boss fights, our previous build with the Arc Towers definitely did a whole lot better. Although here we're not really that established just yet. So that could still work. Okay. Damage to slowed enemies is multiplicatively increased. And the good thing is this is slowed by bleeding as well. Or we can just add a crit chance to every single tower. That's a good one. Because the thing is, our current bleeding isn't really applied to that many units. If we were to go with the circular targeting priority, then this would make a whole lot of sense, because we could potentially apply bleeding to every single enemy that comes across us. But it's currently not really the case. The other question is, what will crit chance really give us? I mean, this is actually fine for the arrow towers because they shoot really fast. Man, I'm really torn on those two. Okay. More bleeding. Yeah, like those are the decisions that I honestly don't know just yet. Which are the best. Okay, Okay, we have all of these. That is very important. This is also very important. And at this point, actually, all of our gold-focused things are done. Beautiful. Nice. I'm just going to leave one worker. Like I said, that's going to be around 40, a little bit less than 40. And we should focus on stone, although let's not forget that we need to build a ton of outposts. So not get eco-starved. Not really... yeah, and of course, speaking of outposts, actually, one thing that's very important is to build this forge. That will cover... yeah, that will cover a lot more. Perfect. Plus 30%. Nice. I think another group of towers, Volcano Mortars, will be around this area. Oh, now that's crazy. Extra 32%. Okay. Yep. Going to continue building up this location. With arrow towers, this will be Volcano Mortars. Now, I would love to demolish these guys. Because honestly, back here, these aren't really that good angles. At the very worst, I would put them over here or here. I think that would be better. Let's do that. Now, the reason I'm starting to put Volcano Mortars next to each other, which goes completely against what I started doing in the beginning by spacing them out, is because this time around they're not really one-shotting anyone. So I don't think we are really losing out on that many shots, but I'll try to keep an eye on that. And if we are, then we might need to switch up. Might actually need to go into circulating. Is that a good idea, to start circulating, and that will essentially burn everything? Because that is exactly what would happen. Let's take a look. You know, if we started like doing circulating, targeting, then they would just throw shots everywhere and essentially start bleeding the enemy or burning the enemy in whole different locations. Okay, they're somewhat getting through. The only real downside to circulating targeting is if the circulation goes to a single enemy as opposed to like a group of enemies of like 20 or something that could immediately take us out. That's what I'm a little bit worried about. This, I think this came up in one of the previous episodes, is that if we have the bleeding, banner will disapply the bleeding 3 times because it shoots 3. Because if that is the case, then I kind of want that. Like I said, I think I even said it in that video that this would be very difficult to test. Okay. At the same time, if we were to do... you know what? I'm so interested in trying that out. That I am going to try that out. Let's try, instead of focusing on groups, focus on this one. Just circulating. You could prioritize the boss. Yeah, I think we need to prioritize the boss somewhat because, you know, the boss will probably not get taken out by this many arrow towers. And then we're screwed. Yeah, so I am going to focus on that. Let's see if we have some good locations. Not really, honestly. Not really. Okay, then let's put down some arrow towers then. Nice sentence, bro. Well, that will cover a lot actually. So this will demolish more resources. Okay. Nice, and then we can also put this down in case we finally get the damn banner. And this is about it, I think. As a matter of fact, we could even boost these towers with the gold that we have. Nice, we're already at 50% penetration. Even got to 75% for many of them. Okay, let's see. So now the real question is whether that circulating targeting will actually make a big difference. Well, I mean, it's difficult to tell because we did put down a ton of towers. Okay. Plus 30% resources on the map. Hopefully we can get some good positions. Damage for all towers is actually something I might want. Just to get some base damage going. Okay, so I think... yeah, we just continue building up these positions. Some more arrow towers over here. Maybe a runestone tower, because by the time they actually reach us... although we still don't have the banner, to be honest. A little bit concerning. I think just one upgrade of range might be pretty good here. Because some of these are really on the edge of, you know, like not actually reaching this entire arc. Yeah, I think that this would be better. And it's really not much. So everything... okay, next wave, let's see. So still my concern is most of the units really get far. Like even this I would consider far. Right, because here we only have a few towers and later on that won't mean anything. Okay. Might switch over to penetration for the Volcano Mortars actually. Okay, not bad. Sure, I mean... lightest missions offer relics now as well, but take +1 wave. Really? As opposed to like legendary banners. Question is, do I want relics or banners? I'm not sure about this one. Because I'm pretty sure it's not like an end, you know, like you get a banner and a relic. Although if it is, that's fantastic. Okay. Yeah, I think we just simply build this up. I'm really a little bit lost right now. Like, what's the next step we should be focusing on? Maybe throwing down a few frost towers would make sense. Just maybe. We can slow them down here a little bit, especially the bosses. Hopefully that's going to happen. Now that relic would be pretty nice at this point. One that allows us to deal more damage against slowed enemies. No more, or no common banners possible anymore in chests. Yes, please. Chest or banner choices. Yep. So no more common banners in general. Okay. Cool. Okay, barriers got taken out. That's a very important step. Yeah, like these ones are getting very far. As a matter of fact, they're actually going to reach the village. So like high HP, but these guys have a ton of armor, right? Only 10 armor, honestly. 10 armor but a bunch of HP. The problem is, if this was a boss, then we would lose the game. And the next wave is actually boss wave. Yeah, this so far is not as strong as I thought it would be. Well, we definitely have to kill the minion spawners before they get to the Volcano Mortars. But I think after that we might need to focus on the highest HP one instead of the highest armored one. I mean, I don't know what to do. Introduce more towers at this point. Like have a group of shadow towers, maybe. Or start building up a bunch of raven towers in the middle over here to snipe, maybe. I mean, we can try that out, sure. I'm just not sure how good of an idea this is. Let's start with accuracy because these guys shoot really slowly. Okay, and then another... Man, we really need that runic fire aura. Actually sad I didn't pick it up when we had the chance to pick up the legendary one. Okay, so that's a 28 hex. This is at least good. Okay. Let's see. And these guys should focus on, well, group healers, yes, that's important. And then minion spawners, well, I hope that the arrow towers will take out all the minion spawners. So highest HP one, and of course the boss. Actually, the group healers boss, and then highest HP one. So group healers boss, yeah, and this is boss, spawners, and highest HP. Okay, let's see. Could potentially even max out on the accuracy. Okay, maybe. But this is the real question. Okay, wasn't as close as I thought it would be. Each kill gives more. Yes, please. Ooh. Now this is also like longer duration for bleeding and burning is amazing, because that's essentially more damage or just raw damage. But we have two of these, right? Burning and bleeding. Well, the real question is, will that plus 2 seconds actually be that significant compared to just simply improving the damage by 25%? Like, for example, here, the 25%. I mean, that is... And that's for every single tower. So... I'm gonna go with this one. Hopefully that's a good choice. Focus rune, unfortunately, that's not what I'm looking for, so let's go with more bleed stacks. Okay. We're actually closing in on the unique banner for the arrow tower, which you haven't seen before, so this should be interesting. Okay, and well, I mean, we can work on our Raven Tower project. Hopefully it won't screw us over. By the way, yep, we have a ton of gold. I think I'm going to burn most of that gold into penetration for the Volcano Mortars. Hopefully that will help us out a little bit against the armored enemies. I just hope. Okay, and these guys can fully go into penetration because range don't really need to be increased, I think. A little bit more slowing all across the board. I mean, this just seems all over the place, honestly. That's my biggest problem. Like, it doesn't feel as superior as the previous one, you know, with the Arc Towers and the Runestone Towers. There I felt that we had a good chance in getting at least to a personal record, and we did. We died at wave 39. I'm pretty sure that we won't be able to get to wave 39 with this one. Because this overall just doesn't feel as strong. There's a lot of these little shits that get this far, and that's just, you know, if these were the group healing ones, then they would have just run in. Let's focus on barrier. Once we have the penetration done, let's focus on barriers. Because we're cutting a little bit close with that one. Okay. The Runestone Tower, just in case we can snatch that banner. A little bit of range, a little bit of range. You know, we have a pretty good amount of like damage banners. It goes into the Volcano Mortars, but I still don't feel like the Volcano Mortars are really that heavy hitting as I had anticipated. Honestly, I would have expected a lot more damage to just come out of these guys. So like, this is what I meant, that if some of them are healing, then these guys will just walk in. Like this one, for example, not even burning anymore. Yeah, they can just run in, no problem. We could extend the range very quickly. So this increase of 1.7 is good, and this would be twice as much. Or we could just re-roll. Because this Painful Cold, I don't want this. Focus Rune, I also don't want. Okay, let's do a... Okay, Magical Charge. This isn't bad. Prism, Runic Fire Aura, Common Banner. Okay, whatever. At least it's something. I'm not sure if it's better than what I wanted to pick in the first place. Yeah, this quickly turned into a Raving Tower build, even though it wasn't planned out to be that. Okay, that's, I mean, this is pretty good. Once again, what are we focusing on? The group, yeah, the group healers and the highest HP. I mean, yeah. Maybe not focus until death. I don't know, I mean, maybe I'm just overthinking all of this, because this is like very specific. Like which layer of defense has what priorities. Maybe that's not really the way to go. Like, you know, for example, here the concept is take out all the group healers, pop all the spawners, and then the theory is that the Volcano Mortars only have to deal with like very small HP enemies. Like, kind of like this. Except that it's only wave 28 and it's already falling apart. It's not really good. These guys are just, yeah, these towers in the back are completely useless at this point. Might as well just demolish them. Okay, barrier damage is nice, and even this, I'm sure, let's pick that up as well. Legendary banner. Yeah, I'm going to demolish these towers. Except, wait, no, I cannot, because we get gold for every tower built. Okay, never mind. I mean, we could put a bunch of Raven Towers over here, focusing on the closest one. Hopefully, I mean, that could make a difference. Only problem is at this point, we can't really make that many Raven Towers because of the economy. So might as well just, I guess, continue on this path. Yeah, that was one. Unfortunately. Okay. Well. Not sure if moving all of our guys into like wood production and then popping down a bunch of outposts at this point is going to make that big of a difference. We can do one round, or at the worst, you know, just make a bunch of arrow towers, because each of them will give us 10 wood. Yeah, currently the problem is we don't really have an answer for the little shits. That's the best way I can describe it. So, you know, those enemies that are easily taken out by arc towers. I mean, we could go into arc towers, but I said I don't want to do that because I want to see what we can do without them. I mean, to be honest, the Volcano Mortars would be for that purpose, or that would be their purpose. But this is exactly what I meant, right? Like these little groups of healers. That's exactly what I was afraid of.
Research completed.
Okay, at least we got a research. Nice. No more common banners, and that's nice. We could go into resource production, but I'm pretty sure we're dead. Honestly, in a few rounds at this point. Maybe taking off circulation. I mean, if we take off circulation and move back into groups, then what we gain from that is that minimizes the amount of enemies that can get to our village, right? Because in theory, this would take out every big group of enemy, and yes, a few might get through, but overall, that's not going to be hopefully 17 or 20. At least that's the theory. Okay, so that's a little bit of penetration added. Okay, so let's see. Like I said, what are our hex situation? Not too much, honestly. Like 24 production for 200 wood. That's really not that good. And the general collectors, you know, 624 wood for that much. of course, all of these would be nice if I knew that we were going to survive until, I don't know, wave 50, if there's a wave, if there is a wave 50. But there is a wave 50 because the scoreboard has wave 100, yeah. So then this is nice because eventually this will pay off, right? But for us, I really don't think it will. So I think I'll just move back into arrow towers. Do as much bleeding damage as we can, and then just some Volcano Mortars all across the board. And even put these guys back here. And then maybe focus on a little bit of Raven Tower action. Maybe one more into gold. Help us out with that. Yeah, that's really all I can think of right now. Also, my biggest problem currently is that I don't know how I would fine-tune this. How to make the Volcano Mortars, for example, be better, that much better. Okay, so these ones that are healing themselves are always going to get through. Now this might be a little bit too much of them getting through. Okay, I got to endless mode, but I don't know. Area effect would be nice. This also would be nice. Yeah, area effect actually would be super helpful this time around. But this would trigger the unique, no? Yeah, 12 banners. Okay, I just want to see what the unique is. Skyfall arrows. Adds an arrow rain every 15 seconds. Dealing the arrow tower damage in its impact area. Oh, wow. That's good for AoE, actually. I wasn't prepared for that, honestly. Okay. Botkin arrow, fantastic. I mean, that is actually fantastic because if we had a bunch of arrow towers along the path, and we can still put some of them. Right, like all of these triggering that arrow, or what's it called? Skyfall arrows. That's not bad. Or we'll see how bad it is, or good it is. Okay, interesting, because then we can actually use the arrow towers for single target and AoE damage. That's very interesting. It's very interesting. Except, okay, let's be fair, it takes a lot of time for us to get there. Okay, I'm seeing that, yeah, there's a little bit of an arrow forest, essentially. Okay, interesting. Yeah, but we do need to get to 12 banners for that to happen. I'm not sure if... Maybe that is actually what's causing us to suddenly be in a very good shape. You know, currently nothing got through. Which is kind of crazy. Maybe rushing for that unique banner is actually a good idea, question mark. I don't think we can do mass arrow towers. But if we could, you know, with all that wood production, especially if we get like better banners for that, man, that would also be an interesting build. Might actually check that out next time. Last time, wow, I'm a little bit sleepy in the head. Okay, so let's see. I do know that the wave 35 boss is surprisingly easy. I'm not sure why that is. Well, I know why that is, because there aren't any banners or group healers in that wave. It's just a bunch of units and then the boss, Grimlock the second. Like, this wave is probably way more difficult than that wave is going to be. So if we can get to wave 35, then wave 35 is basically guaranteed. Okay, so for example here we have an elite. Okay, just melted, good. Yeah, so currently we have a real problem with groups. But I mean, that's the same problem we had previously. We also had problem with groups of enemies. You know what? I gave up on resources, so I'm gonna go with beer production. Man, this is like super disappointing. I'm not sure if I'm missing something, but you know, I have this, plus I have the upgrade in the druid house, and these hexes are just shit. I'm not sure what I could do about that. Yeah, let's go with damage. Raw damage for all the towers. And we need to pick up one of these. We can pop the barriers in case we need to. Runic Fire Aura, legendary. You know what? Sure. The AoE also would have been nice, just for the record. We don't really have that many Runestone. I mean, we could boost them with some gold. Yeah, let's focus more on... So I'm spreading these out, because it's 15 seconds for them to pop. It's kind of like the same concept as I had in the early game with the Volcano Mortars. That if everyone is so close to each other, then those 15 seconds are going to be wasted for most of them, I think. Okay, let's grab some range for the Runestone towers, because now they're actually very good. That's all the range we're going to get. Pretty good coverage, not the best, and not the best looking, definitely. Group of 5 over there in the middle, and maybe a group of 5 over there and expanded over here would have been a better option. Oh, these are good infos. Okay, wave 33. Group healers and insane barriers. By the way, how much is this big barrier? 120,000. Okay. Good thing it fell. Okay, not bad. Not too bad. Oh, it's starting to fall apart over there. Yeah, and I know that wave 36, 7 is absolute hell in terms of these units. Yeah, this current build, I think, is like a wave 36 build, is what I would say. You can grab this, but I'm not really using. Okay, chance to freeze. A little bit late to the party, but good. More barrier damage, just in case barriers suddenly become annoying. Because still the Volcano Mortars have no chance against barriers. Okay, so we can spread out these Frost Towers as well for some healing. Or freezing, not healing. Dude. Come on. And yeah, these are just 11 ones, honestly. Spending 220 wood for 24 stone income when we're about to die. No thanks. No thanks. Could have used the gold actually. Yeah, penetration for these guys. Yep. Okay, let's see. Yeah, those ones getting through. We know about that, so and that's quite unfortunate. Yeah, because of that, it's equally unfortunate that I didn't have the goal to pick up that first relic actually, which said that healing is reduced for enemies with bleeding, because that would actually play perfectly well into what we have currently. Oh my god. So these guys are out of penetration. Okay, then focus on accuracy. And you guys, I assume... Okay, let's just focus on barrier damage automatically, because I don't want to manually mess with all that. Okay. Let's see. A little bit more Raven Towers, I think. Well, that is the extent of Raven Towers that I was able to do. Some arrow towers over here, some more random freezing happening, hopefully. And I guess that's it. With more penetration and also some accuracy for some. Okay, let's see. So this is the wave that I said I feel like is going to be infinitely easier than the previous 3 or 4 waves. Simply because there are no barriers, there are no fast enemies, and there also aren't any healers. There's really just Grimlock and his insane amount of HP of 1.25 million is what could potentially cause some issues, but I'm pretty sure if all these arrow towers start unloading on him, plus all the bleeding and burning and even the Raven towers, then this shouldn't be that big of a problem. In before we die. So there's no reason to die at this point. Okay, the guards are going to get through. That's for sure. I mean, I don't know which one. This has more damage. Okay, it didn't actually get through. Interesting. Legendary banner. Duration of bleeding. Sure. On impact. Or scaling the damage even further. Now that is huge. Precision shots. Okay, nice. Maybe a couple of Raven towers or even Volcano Mortars at this point. A couple of arrow towers over there, and that's really it. And of course the hexes aren't going to change, so that's about it. Okay. If not this wave, then the next wave is gonna be where we lose. I just want to predict that. One iteration of this would be if we started building a bunch of arc towers in the end over here to focus on these little shits. It could have been a possibility. I just really want to see how far we can get without arc towers. And I think this is, yeah, so exactly, wave 36 is how far we can get, because these guys are going to get through when it's over. Okay, interesting. So we did get a new unique banner for the arrow towers, which is fantastic. It's actually a very nice banner. I would love to see if we have more arrow towers, what we can do with that. Volcano Mortars, honestly, you know, I'm still a noob at this game, so take everything in that regard, but I'm not really impressed with the Volcano Mortars. They cost a shitload of stone, and honestly I don't feel like the damage that they're dealing is all that much. I mean, do let me know what you think about that, but currently the Runestone Tower, Arc Tower mix is far superior. Maybe even a bunch of arrow towers would have been more superior than these Volcano Mortars. I'm not sure. But those are my feelings, but definitely let me know what you think. Okay, super fun. I still want to continue experimenting with more tower combos, and I think next time we are going to unlock, if I cannot unlock it over here. Probably not. Okay, but we are going to unlock the Chaos Reaper and see what that can do. And I also want to play around with Shadow Towers, maybe a little bit more with Raven Towers. Opening up with that is probably a bad idea, because it's very good for single target, but you know, in the beginning we have a ton of smaller units coming our way, so it's probably not the best idea. Maybe a Shadow Tower, Raven Tower combo, or Chaos Reaper something. Okay, we'll see. Still super fun. Thank you guys for watching.